let's jump right into it. Appfarm uses Material UI by default, but you can alter the styles of every component using the Styles editor. Go to Styles, and here you can see all the different things that you can alter, from the layout direction to sizes, backgrounds, colors, and transitions. All users and external systems interacting with an Appfarm solution does so in the power of a role, and this role may have specific permissions. The permissions is set up here either on a app level to access an app or not, on a service level, and down on the object class level and the specific CRUD operation they are allowed to do. If it's a create, read, update, delete or aggregate. It could also be filtered even more using the conditional permissions here. Even though Appfarm has a lot of flexibility, you might experience that we don't have the exact component that you need at one point. We've therefore built in some escape hatches that lets you write your own code when needed. From the UI editor, you can add the coded component to your application by dropping it in, and here you have quite a few properties. You can add your own HTML, scripts. You can also add resources such as scripts and style sheets from URL or file. And you can integrate with Appfarm and your application through data and actions. Similar functionality is also available on the logical layer of Appfarm Create. You have a component called Run Code that has similar functionality where you can trigger actions. In addition to applications, Appfarm has the functionality to make server-side operations that may be triggered either by a schedule or by another system. From services in Appfarm Create, you may set up endpoints that may be triggered. If you go into one of them, you can see that they can receive data and they can also process an action. And this action may have a range of different logical elements, just as you would in the logical layer of your application. To set up a schedule, you go to Schedules, and here you may set up triggers, for instance that it's going to be triggered every Monday at 1 o'clock. Are you tired of building every component yourself? Appfarm has a built-in market for pre-made components. When adding a new application to your solution, you have the option to browse all apps and see the farmer's market. Here you see all the different available apps, and you may also see more info about them and what they look like. And you can add it to your solution. The market also have quite a set of UI components readily available and some themes. Appfarm has full support for responsive design. When building your application, you can choose a responsive strategy. Either desktop first, where everything will be inherited from the desktop size and down to mobile, or mobile first, where it's the other way around. Here, every style will be inherited for the bigger screens, but you can override it for each of the different screen sizes. Most digital solutions, and business applications in particular, will have to integrate towards external systems such as CRM, ERP, or accounting systems. To facilitate this, Appfarm offers a built-in component that lets you integrate with most modern API endpoints. The component we use for integrations is called web request, and it's located in the logical layer of Appfarm Create called Actions. You can find it down here and drag it into your action and set quite a few properties. First and foremost, you have to set the URL, then a few query parameters, request headers, authorization, whether it's basic or bearer token, what method you want to use, get, post, put, patch, or delete. And you can take the result from the web request and map it to data objects in Appfarm Create just by setting up the data source. Most digital solutions requires user authentication. However, different companies use different standards, ranging from password login to Azure AD single sign-on. To accommodate this variety, Appfarm gives you the flexibility to set up whatever user authentication you'd like. By default, Appfarm has support for 4 different login options: password login, login link, one-time password, and Google. In addition, Appfarm has generic support for OAuth 2, so you can set up whatever authentication you like. You just set up a custom auth provider. You choose, for instance, Azure AD, and you put in the client ID, client secret, tenant ID, and if there's any scopes you want to transfer, you just set it up here. Appfarm offers great flexibility when it comes to building UI, with a vast range of components and tweaks you can do with them. Here we're inside a UI editor of Appfarm Create, and you can see all the components of my app in a hierarchy here on the left side. You can also see a visual representation of what I'm building on the right side. If I want to add new components, I can get that from the components list here. Everything from a container, which is an empty box you can fill whatever you like and tweak the way you like. Input components, tables, lists, buttons, to more high-level components such as maps, PDF reader, and a lot of different charting. If I select one of the components, I can also set a lot of properties here and also styling. Appfarm Create has one-click deploy, so you can push your changes to production with a click of one button. This makes it easy to deploy changes, but also roll back unwanted changes. Appfarm has support for 4 different environments: develop, test, staging, and production. All the changes you make in Appfarm is automatically deployed to the developer environment, and you can see the changes since the last deploy here. If you want to deploy your changes, you can press the blue button, choose what time you want to deploy, and deploy it to test. And you can deploy it further to production. If you're unhappy with the changes, you can always roll back to an earlier version. In the themes editor, you set the global settings for the look and feel of your applications. You can set a primary and secondary color, as well as some other colors down here. You can set up the look and feel of each component and see that it changes on the right side here. And you can set up the fonts you like for each typography variant. And you may also select different fonts, some featured ones, any Google font, or you may upload your own fonts. And here are some examples of different themes that I've set up. Appfarm has support for multiple languages. All text components have a globe connected to it, and from there you can translate any text to any language you would like. You may also add more languages from the Internationalization panel, where you can add, for instance, French. And you can see all your translations and every text component from the translations table. Appfarm creates full stack and can therefore handle data storage. From the data model designer, you may create, update and delete object classes and the relations between them. You may add new object classes, either a normal one or a file object class, and add properties and set the data type. The property is then automatically added to the database and you may use it in your UI straight away. In the secret store, you may add new secrets and give it a name. A secret might be pasted directly, or it might be environment specific. So you can use specific keys for different environments: dev, test, staging and prod. You may also choose to have OAuth 2 values, such as access token, ID token, user ID or ID token claim, automatically fetched from the OAuth 2 flow.